Hi everyone, I'm Christian here from the Tanooki. This is Chad Seiter, the musical director for The Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses second quest. How are you today?
Doing great, really excited for this show.
It's nice to finally meet you.
You too.
Alright, now you're a passionate gamer and musician. Can you give us a quick background on your work?
Yeah, I'm a composer primarily in Los Angeles. I've worked on a lot of film and television shows. My background is I started working for composer Michael Giacchino, who is kind of my mentor and kind of taught me everything I know. So I owe a lot to him, and I really appreciate it. And so as I started working for him, he gave me lots of great opportunities. I wrote the music to the first season of the TV show Fringe, and I just most recently actually composed the music to the new Star Trek game that came out.
Now, what would you say is your your main instrument?
Pencil, actually. I would have to say I'm a big fan of handwriting.
All right, with Symphony of the Goddesses, you're working with compositions that are so highly regarded by the fans and represent one of Nintendo's crown jewels. Even as a professional, how daunting is that? It's really daunting, and I read all kinds of message boards, and the one thing people say about Symphony of the Goddesses is like, oh, they didn't do anything different with the music, and I'm like, what would you why would you want me to change it? This is Zelda. I wanted to present the music in a story and let you experience the story again, and musically too. Now, talk about your process in arranging these pieces. What's exactly your goal in each one?
As I said, and I say this all the time, you'll get sick of hearing it, I am working for Michael and coming from a television and movie background. Story is the single most important thing in any art form. And it's so important to me that Symphony of the Goddesses tells the story of the Zelda franchise, and that I tell it accurately and musically accurate, which I hope that I you can never say, and time is the judge, but I believe that I've worked really hard to accomplish that.
Now, Symphony of the Goddesses is a type of orchestral production that heavily makes use of instrument mics. Do mics affect your arranging process at all?
Well, microphones isn't. I like microphones on the orchestra because as a composer, I work I do a lot of studio recording, and this gives it that studio sound that I love so much. I also love the concert hall, and you can record in concert halls. I think it's good because it allows you to hear all the details that may otherwise get lost in translation to the blossoming into the room.
Now, how do you tackle the challenge of arranging a medley or a movement representative of an entire game and a program representative of an entire series?
Jeron Moore and I, when we tackled this, we kind of laid the stories out. We had this gigantic Excel document of the story in order as we told it. And it was really important that we follow the story accurately and chronologically, both in the game itself, but in the entire franchise. So, in that sense, I would say that's probably the most daunting task of doing that. And so we would have to just kind of start whittling away the ones like, oh, this isn't going to fit, or this won't work so well for orchestra, and make sure we still tell the story correctly.
Now, for Second Quest, it's a new program for a new season. Obviously, this means new pieces and new arrangements. But was there anything that you did to differentiate or experiment, as an arranger and composer this time around?
I'm always kind of musically tinkering. After I recently have finished the Star Trek game, and we had a 120-piece orchestra, which is, I think, the biggest orchestra to ever record a video game score. And we didn't have a choir, so that was all orchestra. So I was trying just a ton of orchestration things, and just kind of fine-tuning. You're always fine-tuning your art form. So I think that in this show, the new pieces will kind of have a darker kind of tone to them, a little more like, kind of the sequel of of a movie, where it's just kind of got this darker tone, or a little more like you've heard stuff. Now let's go into detail a little more.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Now, as a musician in a society pushing core subjects, oftentimes at the expense of the fine arts, talk about the importance that and impact that these types of perfect productions like Zelda Symphony have on younger fans, especially as they start getting to the age where they're thinking about joining performance ensembles, getting into composition or arrangements, etc.
This is actually something I hadn't fully considered when we started the project, and it has now become my main goal in doing this. When we went into it, we were like, we want to do this right for the fans, that it never even really occurred. This didn't even really occur to me, and then we got going, and it picked up so much momentum, and so many people just responded saying, I love your music. And I get emails from people saying, I hope to one day play your arrangements in an orchestra and things, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'm glad that people are inspired by music, and I don't think it matters what it is. I think it's really important to be inspired and to have something that inspires you.
Now, along those lines of inspiring people, what advice would you give to those people that maybe want to go into the game industry or the music industry?
I think a lot of people give advice like write music every day, stuff like that. I think finding a mentor that you can believe in and that believes in you is key. I think that you're never going to learn, and it's a short road when you have a mentor, because you learn a lot and they inspire you. And when it's kind of like a relationship, where if someone can give to you, you can give to them. In a mentorship, when you're helping them too, working for them or whatever, I think that's where you learn the most, and you're working in tandem. So having people support you is the most important thing.
All right. Well, that about does it for my questions. Are there any words you have for the fans who are probably going to see Second Quest in the next few weeks?
Thank you guys. I hope you guys come and see the show. This, as I said, it's a little darker, and my real favorite pieces are in this one. So
looking forward to it then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for us. I'm Christian Ponte from the Tanooki, and this is Chad Seiter from The Legend of Zelda: Symphony of the Goddesses Second Quest. We'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.